Welcome. Chumash Rashi, the Torah portion. He's Savo. We are in the 6th reading. Get ready for some heavy-duty stuff. Today's reading is, well, it begins good and it ends good, but in the middle, there's the curses to the upon the Jewish people. So let's get right into it. And Hashem will give the enemies that are coming up against you, that they will be beaten before you. They will come after you in one path, in one direction. But in 7 directions they will flee from you. Rashi, right? This is before the curse. Right? 7 directions they will flee from you. What does it mean? 7 means those who are, because they're fleeing out of fear, so they scatter in all directions. And Hashem will order the blessing to be with you. In your granaries and all of the endeavors. It means the sending of your hand, which means the endeavors that you engage. And he will bless you in the land of and the land that, by the way, which land is that? The one that God Almighty gives to us. Look at that. Again, he says it. Right? The one that God gives to us. Hashem will establish you therefore a nation that is holy, as he promised you. When you will, if you will, when you will keep the commandments of Hashem your God, and you will walk in his ways. And they will see all the nations of the land, that the name of God is written upon you, and they will have fear from you. It's interesting, the Medrash over here speaks that these are the tefillin sheberoish. The tefillin, it's not the simple meaning, right? But the homiletic meaning is that this refers to tefillin, and the Rebbe quotes his verse and the Medrash saying that that we put on tefillin with every Jew should put on tefillin, and put on with Jews that don't, in order to bring fear into the enemy. That's what the Rebbe spoke about the 6-day war, and of course it applies all the time. 11. And Haisircha means that here translates surplus. I mean extra, surplus. Yeah, Hashem will give you a surplus of good. In the fruit of the womb, but free in the fruit of the animal, of livestock, and the fruit of the land. Upon the land that Hashem had promised to your forefathers to give to you. Again, reference, right? Hashem will open up for you the treasury of good, as Hashemayim, the heavens. To give you the rain for your land in its time, and to bless you in all of the efforts of your hand. And you will lead many nations, and they will not lead. You will lend to many nations, not alone. You will lend to many nations, and you will not have to lend from them. And Hashem will make you a head, not for a tail. And you'll be only upwards. And you will not be downwards. Right? You won't be the bottom. When you will listen to the commandments of Hashem, your God, that I am commanding you today, Lishmor, to heed them, to observe them, and to do them. Thank you. You following, folks? 14. And you shall not stray from all of these words. That I'm that I'm commanding you today. Yomin, not you shouldn't swerve or stray from to the right, but smaller to the left. To follow other gods, to serve them. Now, this now starts the curses, and when the Balkera, by the way, this aliyah is not, no one's called up. You don't call up somebody. The aliyah is given to the Balkera without being called up. Right? And at this point, he says it very low and he says it quickly. And it's today's Hayom Yom that the Mittler Rebbe, when he was around 11 years old, and the Alter Rebbe, who used to read the Torah, was out of town, and someone else read it, he got sick, so sick that when it came to Yom Kippur, the Alter Rebbe didn't know if he was being able to fast at 11 years old. And they asked him why, and he said because he heard the curses and it made him sick. He says, yeah, but every year you hear the Torah reading. He says, yes, but when Father reads, you don't hear curses, you hear blessings. Yeah, Alter Rebbe, right? Today's Hayom Yom. Okay, so now we're going to hear, and so hopefully what we hear is only blessings. Our verse 15. And it will be when you will not listen. They call Hashem Elokechem, to the voice of Hashem your God, Lishmar, to observe lasses and to do is called the mitzvahs of all of his commandments, and all of his statutory laws. That I am commanding you today, and will come upon you all of these curses, and they will overtake you. Cursed are you in the city, cursed are you in the field. Right, we already had this, if you recall, yesterday, right? Where by the mountains. Cursed is your food basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of the womb. And the fruit of your field. And those are born from cattle and the flock of sheep. 19. Cursed are you when you go, and cursed when you come. Or actually, when you come and when you depart. 20. Hashem will send upon you is a me'era, the curse, is a muhuma. Me'era means shortage. There's a muhuma, and the turmoil and the confusion. There's migeres, and the turmoil, b'chol mishlach yadcha, and all of your endeavors, asher tasa, that you will do, ad hishamdacha v'avdacha, until it destroys and until avdu mehera, that you will quickly vanish, mipnei yiro, because of the evil, me'alalecha asher azavtani, because of the evil deeds in forsaking me. Rashi in 20, like similar to the lesion that causes loss when a person's stricken. So it means a loss. Muhuma shinush kol bahala. Shinush, confusion, a sound of panic. Yibak Hashem v'chom. Hashem will make cleave to you is a dover, the pestilence. Ad kalo is until if it exterminates you. Allah Adama, from upon the land that you're coming there to take possession of. Yakecha Hashem b'shechefes. Hashem will strike you with shachefes, with consumption, meaning, okay, we'll see in Rashi in a second. Bekadachas and fever, badalekis and illness, becharchur and a burning fever, becherev and vishidofen and disease, rakum and will cause unquestionable thirst. Redufa ad avdacha, and so that shidofan is then, and they will pursue you until you perish. Ooh la la. V'shachefes 22. Shachef is wasting away, nishchav, meaning the flesh wears away, meaning puch becomes swollen, kadachas and fever. Lashon ki eish kadacha ba'api. V'hu eish shel chaylim means the fire of those who are ill, meaning, as in Old French, malvei. Shi chama ma'ed. It means your person's got a very high temperature. Ubadalekis and a fiery fever. Sama yosmi kadachas. This is more than the other fever. Amini chalaim heim. All types of illnesses. This is v'charchur, a parching. Chayle hamach machamamai teichagu, meaning that it's an illness that heats one up from the inside. Tzamatami lamaim, always thirsty for water. And in Old French, is sadam. I'm sure I got that wrong. Lashon be'atzmi charamini chayrev, anachan nupach. The bell is a scorch by fire. Ubacherev, by the sword. Yova yalecha yayasos, meaning invading armies coming with by the sword. Ubeshidofan of the rokain, blasting and withering. Maketfua shebesodis is a type of a curse on the produce on the field. Abishidofin, blasting, ruach kadim means an easterly wind. In Old French, hasla. Yerakai, withering away. Yoivish, dying out. In other words, the produce pales, and the pachim liyaraka, and then turns yellow. In Old French, crow. Ad avdacha, until you become annihilated, right? Targum ade Savo. Onkelos explains it. De Savo meaning ad until you become annihilated. Shetichle mi'alecha, that you will vanish on your own. Oh la la la. Thank you. Okay, 23. Okay, moving right along. And the skies, Shemecha, and your skies, Asher al Yishcha, that are above you, Nechashis will become like copper. Ba'aretz Asher tachtecha barzel, and the earth below will become like iron. Means no, it's not going to bring any produce, right? Rashi in 23. The heavens above you would like copper, clothes, halal, these curses. Moshe said them on his own. Sheveteris Kahanim, for those in the book of Leviticus, Amram, they were said by God, Kishaman, as they sound. Likewise, the same, but if you will not listen to me, if you behave with me casually, and here it says, call Hashem Alekecha, to the voice of Hashem your God, Hashem will attach to you, Yakecha Hashem, and Hashem will strike you. The Heikal Moshe Moshe made milder the curses, La'amram, saying them the same in a singular form rather in plural. And so was also milder the curse of our verse should be restrained is how you remember, because in the first one you said it's Shmeichem Kebarzel. It's Arsachem Kenechusha. In other words, in Leviticus there, when God cursed, it was in plural form, second person plural form. Here it's in first person, right? So he's lessening the severity. That the heavens would not sweat, bring forth any moisture. In other words, just like iron doesn't sweat. And as a result of this, there will be a drought in the world, but artists here, Zas, and the earth would sweat, the manner that copper sweats condensation of moisture on its surface. It just said that copper doesn't sweat. Iron doesn't sweat, but copper does. I'm sorry. Iron doesn't sweat, but copper does. Sweat. Markeves, and thus causing the fruit to rot. But here it says that the heavens are like copper and the land is like iron, which implies that the heavens would sweat because the heavens are like copper and copper does sweat. It's the opposite of the way it is in the book of Leviticus when the curses are mentioned there. Although they would not pour rain, but still, there would not be a drought, a total destruction in the world, and that the earth would not sweat. Like the iron that does not sweat. And appears and the fruit will not rot as a result. Nonetheless, it is a curse. Whether it's like copper or like iron, because it will not yield fruit. And the heavens will not pour rain. You're not going to get pouring rain, but you're not going to get also as bad. Amen. And Hashem will turn the rain of your land into avak, into powder, afar, and into dust. And from the heavens until upon the heavens until you are destroyed. Thank you. Huh? Yeah, maybe. Thank you. Oh, no coffee? No. Not now. Later. I just had. Thank you. 24. The rain of your land is dust and dirt. Which the wind which follows rain. The rain falls, but not as much as is needed. But there's not enough for the water to water down the soil. And the wind comes and raises the dust and covers the sprouts of the seeds. Because they're moist from the water, and it sticks to them, and becomes mud, and it dries up, and the sprouts rot. In other words, nothing's going to come out of it. Hashem, and Hashem is going to make you broken before your enemy. They will come against you in one direction, but you will run away from them in seven paths. And you will become terrified to all of the kingdoms of earth. Zava le'ema, fear. Le'zia, trembling. Shiazu kol shemi V'akisechem imcha v'yemru, oy lanu, shaloi nova, elena kadesh ba'al leila. Right? Now there's people are going to tremble. Why? Because they're going to say, woe to that it shouldn't befall us, but it befell the Jewish people. And your corpse will be food for the birds of the heavens, of the behemoths of earth, and the beasts of the earth will not be frightened away. And Hashem will strike you with the boils of Egypt. Here it says hemorrhoids. And with sores and lesions, dry lesions rather, it will not be able to be healed from. Rashi 27. The Shchim Mitzrayim, the boils of Egypt, this was very severe. Lach mibachutz, moist on the outside, v'yavash mivnim, and dry on the inside. It says stated in the Talmud. Garav, shchin lach, moist boils. Cheres literally means earthenware, but mishchin yavash cheres means boils that are dry like earthenware. 28. Yakech Hashem, the Shigayenu Varenu B'Seimain Levav, Hashem will strike you with insanity, with blindness, and with bewilderment. Rashi B'Seimain Levav, Aitem Alev means a clogging, the heart will be like stone, it'll be clogged. In Old French, it's to dizon. That old or new? Quite old. It will be translates grope it in during the day, in the middle of the day, like a blind person gropes, in the dark. And your ways will not be successful. And you'll be oppressed, only oppressed. The guzzle and robbed. All the days. And there is no salvation. And all of your experiences, controversy regarding everything you do. 30. Isha se'ares. A woman will be betrothed, and another man will lie with her. You'll build a house, but you'll not dwell in it. Kerem tita, you will plant a vineyard, and you will not redeem it. In other words, you won't have its fruits. Rashi, Oshuk, you'll be harried, everything that you do, there'll be a contention against anything you do. There's a Chalal B'Shana Revis Le'achal Piryai in the 4th year. You won't be able to redeem it. 31. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you won't eat from it. Your donkey will be stolen from before you, and it will not be returned to you. Your sheep will be given over to your enemies, and you have no savior. Your sons and your daughters will be given over to another nation. And your eyes will see this. And you will long for them the entire day. You will long for them all day, but you won't have any power. Your eyes are upon them, and you're longing for your children to come back, but they're not coming back. So it means Your hope won't be materialized. The fruit of your field, of your land, and all of the efforts will be eaten by another nation that you don't know. And you will eat only wrong, verotus, and crushed kolayamim all of the days. And you will go crazy. Vision of your eyes, from what you're going to behold. You're going to go crazy. Oh yeah. Too much of this has been came true to the Jewish people in the last couple thousand years. Yakecha Hashem b'shchin Hashem will strike you with a plague, a bad plague, on your knees and your legs. You'll be stricken that you will not be able to be healed. From the sole of your feet to the top of your head, you won't be healed. And Hashem will lead you, and your king, that will be established over you, to a nation that you don't know. And your forefathers, your fathers of the Sham so a nation that's not known to you or your fathers, and there you'll serve deities made out of wood and stone. 37. Ayisa lishama lamashal. Ayisa lishama. Ayisa lishama. You'll be an astonishment. Lamashal, an example. Vilashanina, v'chol ha'amim, and you'll be talked about by all the nations in Gecha Hashem Shama, that you will be led there by God. It means an astonishment. In Old French, estardisson. Second time we had that. Anybody who sees you will be astonished. They'll be astonished. Lamashal, for an example, meaning people, when something terrible befalls, people will say, this is like the trouble that befell so and so. L'shanina, lashin sheminantam, it's an expression of teaching, like l'shinantam levanecha, right? Shanina means Yadaber b'cha, meaning they're going to speak of you. V'chein targumoy l'shaya lashin sipar v'ashmatzi. Okay, 38. Zera rav teitzi asada, match seed. The field will take much seed. But you will gather very little. Because the locust will finish it off. Means they will consume it. And that's what the word chosul means. That it consumes all. Oh la la. Not so pleasant, this stuff, huh?
Too bad they didn't spread the verses out over the last 3 days.
Uh-huh. Is that like the real? Okay. 39. You'll plant vineyards. Vadata. and you'll work them. But wine you won't drink. And gather the grapes because the worms will devour it. Won't be able to. Olives you will have for yourself in the entire a boundary of the land. But oil you will not have to anoint because the olive trees will drop. It will fly off. You will give birth to sons and daughters, but they will not be for you, because they'll be taken captive. Ooh, ooh la la.
In the past
Give me a
3
second.
years, the price of olives has quadrupled.
Yeah.
In olive oil.
You have a little strength here.
I don't know why.
Hmm?
I mean, they
You know that before
can't figure out.
Israel became Israel, this land, the land of Israel was pretty much like they're describing here. You know that, if you look at the history, some of the pictures they show,
I saw the
you
video
could see how difficult it was
for the people.
to farm and to take out produce from the land.
True.
150 years ago.
Yeah.
I saw a video of that like the desert, everything. The
Yeah.
Aviv, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see what film that with the early 1960s.
Yeah.
You see a lot of just barren hills.
Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you'll see that the background of the movies that they have.
Which number are you on?
Everett, Mark
Mhm.
Twain, which number visit there in the 1860s or.
One second.
He says, I see nothing, there's nothing, like in the center, like you stop, you bad, the bedroom.
42.
Black and white.
All right. So your trees and all of your fruit in the soil. Yeah, hold on. Thank you. Delicious. Kol eitzcha, all of your trees, free masecha, and the fruit of the ground. Aresh hatel lotzel. It will be inherited by the destitute. Let's see Rashi. 42 years Shataltil. Oh, here it says locust. Locust. The locust will impoverish. Yaseh arbe. The locust will make it. Oh, okay, impoverished. Rashmin aperi. Impoverished of its fruit. Yeresh yani. Masalzel amin arbe. So taltil is a type of locust. Can't explain it as being an inheritance. That's what I thought it was. Okay. 43. And the stranger was amongst you. Maila will rise above you. High. Maila. But you will be descend lower and lower. Here doesn't mean the convert. Here it means a stranger. But the word stranger means different things in different contexts. Oh yeah, he will lend you, but you will not lend him. He will be a head, but you will be a tail. 45. And all of these curses will come upon you, and they will pursue you. and they will reach you, overtake you, Adi Shamdam, until it destroys you. Because you did not listen to the voice of Hashem your God. Lishmor, to observe mitzvahs of his commandments, and his statutory laws, as he commanded you. And you will be a sign and a wonder upon and your offspring forever. Oh, famous verse over here. Why? Because you did not serve Hashem your God with joy of v'tuv levav and gladness of heart. Because you had an abundance of everything. When you still had all good things. And you had all good things and you were serving God with joy. Right? And you will serve your enemies, that Hashem is going to send against you. Berov, with famine, Vitzama, with thirst, Be'erim, and destitution, and lacking everything. V'nosan al barzil al tzavarecha, and they will place iron yoke upon you. Adi shamduch until it destroys you. Hashem will bring up a nation from distance. Make it say haaretz from the ends of the earth. Hanesher, like an eagle, swoops down. A nation whose that is a tongue you will not understand. Rashi 49. Kasher yid anesher, that eagle flies, pisoim suddenly, derech matzlachas, an effective manner, yikala susav, and his horse will be the language that you will not understand. You won't recognize their language. Like was Yosef, an old French, and Tom. Goy Aspanim, a brazen nation, Asher lo yisapanim lezakein, that they will not respect the elderly, even yochin, and nor the young will they favor. And they will devour all of the fruit of your livestock, and the fruit of your field, of your land. Until it will destroy you. There will be not left for you doggone, not grain, siraish, oil. I mean, wine. Yitzar, oil. Shegar offspring of your cattle or flocks of the sheep until they annihilate you. Ooh la la.
Yearning about yesterday and whatever.
Let's just. I'm sorry. I want to make sure we finish. I want to just finish.
You
Okay.
passed this already?
Huh?
You passed this already?
We're at 52. And they will besiege you in all of your cities. Adred is until they bring down your fortified walls, hagavoyos that are tall, are high walls, and in your fortified walls that you are secure in them, and all of your land, and and they will besiege all of your cities, and the entire land, and that Hashem your God has given to you. Expression of subjugation and conquest. 53. And you will be you will eat the fruit of your womb, the flesh of your sons and of your daughters, that Hashem has given to you, Hashem has given to you, in the siege of a matzek and in the desperation, that your enemies are gonna kind of put upon you. Rashi in 53. Oh, not such pleasant things over here. You will eat the flesh of your sons because of the siege. Because they will besiege the ear. What's like to be distress? Akas re'ovain, oppression of hunger. Yeah, we know that in the first holy temple, it's been recorded that such things. And those who are tender amongst you, very delicate, very delicate. Teira einai. The Ochivi will have a begrudging eye in his brother, over Ashes Cheke, and of the wife of his embrace of Yesabanim, Banav Asher Yosir, and the rest of his children who he will leave over. Rashi in 54. The tender and the delicate amongst you. Tender one means the same as the delicate one. Lashon Pinuk is an expression as fastidious. A delicacy and tenderness shows it's the same idea. Even though he's fastidious, not and he's not by something disgusting. Excuse me. The imtak loy in the flesh of his sons and daughters will be sweet to him because of his hunger. Oh, into the point that he will turn to selfish towards his remaining sons. To give him even one of them from flesh of his sons, and from their brothers, alternative explanation, those who are tender amongst you, those who are merciful and tender-hearted, because of their great hunger, they will become cruel, right? Not tender-hearted, what their nature is, and they will not give from the flesh of their slaughtered sons. And they serve to the remaining sons. Okay. It says the achad mehem in basar banav, giving them one of them the flesh of your son. Asher yechal mibli hishar loy, that he will consume, eat without leaving anything, like leaving nothing to remain. The matzah matzik, because of the siege and the desperation, asher yatzik l'cho, that the enemies will put upon you, and all of your cities. Okay, 56. We're going to stop over here because we have Tanya now. We're not going to finish it. Ooh la la. That's pretty heavy.
Thank you, Rabbi.